Hey everyone, it's Michael and it's pretty quiet. It's just Michael, although Ruben is in the background. We are missing everyone today. So welcome to Friday. Welcome to the Bullion Now live stream. We're going to do things a little bit old school. So many years ago, and I've done them every so often since, but many years ago we used to do what we called Michael's Mailbox. Where it was basically an opportunity for you guys to sit down with a bullion dealer and ask all those fairy questions, all the questions that, you're either too embarrassed to ask or, weren't quite sure of or not quite sure how to ask or not even sure who to ask sort of thing. So it gives you a chance for the next hour or so. We'll just shoot the breeze. I'll chunk through as many questions as I possibly can through the mailbox. It's rapid fire on steroids, hopefully. And we'll just chunk through as many as we can. Ruben is here in the background. He's going to give me a hand for a little while, but we are actually desperately short of people today because Alex isn't here. Alex is in another area looking after his daughter, and the rest of our backups for the shop are away today through various reasons. So Ruben is one of our red hot backups for the shop. So if they start getting a queue again, which is pretty normal on a Friday, we've got to say, Ruben's going to have to duck out. So we'll see how long he's in for. But at this stage, Ruben and I are on screen. Well, I'm on screen. Ruben's behind the screen. And we're going to chunk through as many questions as we possibly can. So keep them rolling in fairly quickly. You ready to kick off, Rubes?
I'm not mic'd.
You're not mic'd at all. I thought you were going to read the questions for me. This is going to be even tougher. All right. So, Stephen Bayer, business is tough and Michael's sacked everyone. Not quite. I haven't sacked anyone this week. It's been a good week. It's Wednesday on a Friday. That's right. Senor Ding Dong's remembering back to, I used to do, Wednesday was Michael's mailbox. How come you're wearing a jumper? Well, believe it or not, at 3 o'clock this morning, it was actually quite cold and I put a jumper on and I haven't stopped running quickly for long enough to actually take my jumper off. I'd forgotten I'd had it on until Ruben said, just as we were rolling the camera, "Oh, you're going to wear your jumper?" Oh, yeah, as long as it doesn't look too bad. Okay, fractional gold coins, best mint size of coin, quarter, half, or tenth. This is from Corey. In Australia, the 1/10 is the most popular fractional gold coin. In the US, the quarter seems to be the most popular. And I tend to lean into the Australian one, the 1/10. I like it. It gives you far more options and it's less overall pricey to get into. So you can use it for a lot of things, not just for trading. You can also use it for gifts and that sort of thing, although that is getting dearer now as the spot price really starts to climb. The big disadvantage of the 1/10, is obviously you are paying a larger premium to get into a smaller coin. But if you can get onto some of our specials that we run at different times, or you come across a cheap way to get into any of the fractional size, but particularly the 10th, it's absolutely the way to go. When's the next load of copper coming in? Believe it or not, there is rumour going around that we are placing another order for copper today. I intentionally left the room when that question was asked, but I suspect I'm going to be very unhappy and there's going to be another load of copper turn up in the not too distant future. Where's my BN shirt? Believe it or not, I had none out of the wash bin this morning and I wasn't going to drag one out and come in here stinking a sweat. So they're all in the wash bin and I've got like 12. So it's been a while since I've done the washing, I can tell you. What percentage of spot do you pay for 66 50-cent pieces? I believe our current, without looking at it, I think we're paying 90% of spot, including GST, right at the moment. Question for Michael will be, will he be in the store in the city on Monday? Yes, I do have. I should be in the store on Monday, although not all day. I'll be in the morning, but I've got to duck out to Pakenham in the early afternoon. So If you can swing past in the morning, you're more likely to get hold of me then. Desi, are you expecting the Reserve Bank of Australia to drop interest rates again this year? I think they will, but I don't think they'll do it as quickly as the rest of the market seems to think they are, because I think they're nervous that inflation is not under control. I think that's probably as far as I need to go. I think they're nervous with the numbers that they're seeing, because the Australian economy, I would argue, is on a bit of a knife edge. We're seeing indications of inflation, but we're also seeing indications of the economy really starting to suffer, and so it's kind of almost having a bet either way. And I think it will. I think the pendulum will swing pretty heavily one way or the other. And I think I have a suspicion that the American, what America does over the next 100 days or so is going to be a big part of that, whether they introduce the tariffs or not, and how heavily they introduce the tariffs. You can already see the Australian government softening us up, because obviously their meetings with the US government haven't been as positive as they hoped. So they're already starting to try to soften us up for, well, actually we might get tariffs. We're not going to get the exemption we hoped for. So I'm suspicious that we're going to go the other way and we're going to get hammered by tariffs. But it's still early days. We're still very hopeful that the world sees sense and we don't cop it. But yeah, there's some serious noises coming out of the US at the moment on those. Where are we up to? How long did the copper bars last? I think they made 24 hours, but only just. The 5 ounces didn't. They were sold out within a few hours. Getting really disappointed in silver and platinum. Should I just cash it in and move over to gold? No. When people start asking that question, and we're getting asked more and more, it's usually time to start swinging back towards silver. And if you look at the gold-silver ratio, it's kind of indicating that silver is a cheaper buy than gold currently. Rubes, can you call up really quickly, because I'm trying to keep moving, what the gold-silver ratio is right at this moment, and let me know. So this is not financial advice. Obviously, I can't give that, but if you'd asked me this question 2 weeks ago, I would have said gold all the way. I'm starting to question that, and almost, I'm not there yet, but I'm almost leaning towards, going that silver platinum route a bit more heavily. Perth ever thought about doing a 2.5 gram minted bar? No, they laughed at me when I suggested that, but we are getting some PAMP 2.5 grammers in very soon.
It's 91.91 on gold silver.
It's 91?
Yep.
Yeah, so we're looking at a gold silver ratio of 91. That's quite high. Anything over that, even 70, but certainly anything over that 80 mark is really starting to lean towards moving towards silver. I'm not saying go all in silver or anything along those sort of lines, but it's certainly starting to head that way, where gold has run quite hard and silver hasn't. So usually we see that expand out, and then silver follows 6 weeks, 3 months later, and compresses the gold-silver ratio a bit. Now, it could bite you on the backside. It could be that instead of silver going up, gold comes down. But normally, it's that silver price movement that heads upwards. But you've got to remember, I'm the guy that said that the gold-silver ratio would never break through 100, and it went up to 129 during COVID. So, this is all smoke and mirrors. Don't completely trust what I'm saying. You know your situation far better than I do, but that's kind of my reading of the tea leaves at the moment. I'm starting to lean more towards that silver platinum play. I bought a 1/10 buyback yesterday. It had a picture of a maple. Does that mean the buyback is a maple or a random? It will be a random maple. It will absolutely be a 1/10 maple. Pre-decimal buybacks, if we're talking silver, we don't. We pay 90% over spot with those. Like
90% of spot.
90% of spot. Yeah, what did I say?
Over, I think.
No, 90% of spot.
Just thought that was an important clarification. I might have missed it, but thought that was an important one.
I think this is, in your loose opinion, would you sell 1 ounce Great Southern Silver Opal now selling at 1,100? Not bad. Look, I just lost you. Where the heck did that go? Peter Grace me guide. So the silver 1 ounce Great Southern Opal coin was a stunning coin. Came out, cost 125. Now selling for around the 1,100. I don't think they're going to race. I don't think they're going to double to 2,000 in the near term. But they will certainly keep appreciating over time more and more. So it depends. If you're looking, if you're done and you're okay, you got something better to put the money into, and you're okay missing out on probably somewhere between a 5 to 10% growth over the, per annum over the next few years, then absolutely get rid of it. But if you want to if you like it and it's a pleasure thing, I think the boom has happened on it, and now you're going to see a gradual price increase over time for that one. Yeah, thank you. So what do we got here? I want to complain about the copper. It's too expensive. Yeah, good on you. Eric Flatt, any chance of getting the St. Helena East India Company bar with the sailing ship on it? We've had them in before, Eric, a couple of times. Look, actually stick around. You might see them later on this year appearing. And I don't want to inundate any phone calls or anything like that, but we actually have a couple in Buyback at the moment. If you're after them, they're 250 gram bars. So if you shoot an email through to the sales at bullionnow.com.au, you should be able to just say Michael mentioned it on live stream. I'd love one if they're available, and the guys should be able to chase them up and put one aside for you. If you ever manage to keep copper on the shelf for longer than 24 hours, would it change price with the copper spot price? No, they don't, Stephen. So copper is a fixed price. We buy it at a fixed price. And to be honest, it would take a lot of movement one way or the other for me to scratch my head and say, oh, well, maybe we need to clear these, because it is such a decent chunk above the spot price on it. No worries, Phrase. When is Pakenham opening for business? So, Duncan, Pakenham, I'm hoping by the end of March we're functioning there. That's my hard aim at the moment. When do you think you'll start seeing Hobart Mint products? As soon as Hobart Mint gets organised for me to have them. We spoke about a week ago, possibly 2 weeks ago, about it, and he's just tidying up a few things. He's actually making some improvements that I'm really excited about with his products. So I'm, as I said to him, quite happy to wait for those to flow through, even if it means we won't get them for a month or two. But we should get them. I'm kind of hoping that April, May time, we should have them in stock. Where are we after? This channel has gotten me into your store and buying gold coins. This is from Marbler. This channel has gotten me into your store and buying gold coins. Keep up the good work, and thank you for buying back at spot. You are more than welcome. Yes, it is Friday, Scott. Hi, Phil. Senor Ding Dong. You have a maximum amount of metals you can sell back on one day and still get spot. Can you leave an amount of metal with you to sell back over several days, or do you actually have to come into the store? No, look, we don't encourage that because otherwise we end up with a whole stack of, partial piles of different people's stock that we're trying to administer. So, look, we can buy back more than those stated minimums or stated maximums. It's just by negotiation. So if you've got, for example, if you walked in today and said, look, I've got more than, I think it's 50 ounces for gold. I've got more than 50 ounces worth of 1 ounce or 50 gram bars. What price are you going to do? I would actually do spot for them today because we have a huge demand for the 1 ounce bar and the 50 gram bar right now, and I could flick them straight back out again. So it wouldn't worry me paying spot. But if you come in on a day when, I've got a gazillion, 1 ounce is a bad example because I can never get enough 1 ounces ever. But, let's use the 50 grammers. If you say, I've got a kilo's worth of 50 grammers, actually that I'd still buy them at spot anyway. I've got 5 kilos worth of 50 grammers. What are you going to pay? And I'm drowning in 50 grammers. Then I'm likely to go, look, 99's the best we can do, or something along those sort of lines. So we try and work in with you as best we can, but sometimes we just, it's just not possible. We're still a business. We're still a small business, and we still have to protect our cash flow at the end of the day. So, but look, I'm not saying I'll do this every single time, but there have been times when I've said to people, look, if you're not in a hurry for the money, you don't need it today. If you can wait till the end of the week, the end of next week, those types of things for full payment, we'll make staged payments over the next 3, 4, 5, 6 days. If you're happy with that, then we can probably pay spot in a number of circumstances because it really is just about protecting the cash flow of a small business. It's not that I'm trying to be mean or nasty or anything along those sort of lines, or try and rip anyone off. We're just trying to protect ourselves to make sure that the next person that walks in, with an ounce of gold, we can still fill their buyback requirements. So if you can work with us, we can certainly work with you on it. What does it mean, including GST? This is from Acorn. When you quote percentage of spot when buying 66 50s and 22 karat gold coins. So if you are a private seller, just an everyday punter walking in off the street, it makes absolutely no difference to you. It's the price. You get 90% of or 100%, whatever it is. If we say including GST, means you get that amount. It only becomes a difference if you're selling back as a business. Obviously, we have to pay GST on it. We can claim GST on a purchase, and we have to pay GST on a sale. So when I sell a 1966.50, I'm required to remit 10% of that purchase price to the government as for GST. So if, like some of the jewelers and people like that, they might come in and say, okay, well, I've just bought back a kilo's worth of 1966.50s. We will issue them with a 90% of spot, including GST. So they will then have to remit that GST to the government. As a business, let me re-emphasise that, as an individual, you do not have to do that, and you keep all of the money that we pay you. It's only if you're selling to us as a business that the GST becomes an issue, because we can claim a GST credit, obviously, in that example I just gave, and we have to, when we then sell them, we then have to pay GST on that sale. Alrighty, do you think Trump will look at Fort Knox, and will it be honest? I covered this last week. I'm of the opinion that it almost doesn't matter what they do. It ain't, like, we're not going to believe them. So, yeah. Gary Johnson, buy Australian silver, no tariffs. Part of me agrees with that statement, part of me doesn't, which is why we're trying to stock up on overseas, particularly American products at the moment. But I think it's going to be a worldwide. If it kicks off, it'll be a worldwide trade war. Michael says no, so that means yes. Yeah, you obviously worked here. When I go into purchases to look at what I have, any chance you can change it from completed to in storage, because I make the most of the 3 months and can't tell. I don't know. I'll ask the question on that one, mate. Michael, why on earth are you buying? Like I said, the jumper was on because I haven't had a chance to take it off. At 3 o'clock this morning, it was actually quite cool down in the country. Do you expect Hope to always pay spot for buyback gold? You never say never, but it is not my intent to ever drop it below spot. I think I'll probably leave it at that. It's not my intent to ever pay below spot for buyback bullion gold. Obviously, we've talked previously about the non-pure stuff that incurs GST, because that causes me all sorts of headaches. But the normal, you come in with a bar or a normal, 24 karat, 99.99% coin. I don't intend on ever changing that price to be less than spot. Scott's, I've been so happy with my orders from you guys. Beautiful product, nicely packaged, safely delivered. Thank you. Thanks for the feedback on that, Scott. I'd love to say we get it right every time. We don't, but we certainly try, and we put a lot of effort into it. And we've got a really good team of people in the packaging department, and a big shout out to that team, because they do a fantastic job. And it's very difficult to ship this sort of stuff, not only because of its value, but because of its weight. If you can imagine a parcel that's being mistreated at all by a courier, and we all know that would never happen, but you've got at least, a 1 kilo bar in there, and it gets a lot of inertia up, and it doesn't take much for them to beat their way out of a package or do serious damage to other products within that package. So there is a real skill to actually packaging these types of products and shipping them out and making sure they arrive without damage. Silver's on sale, keep stacking. There's a part of me that believes that as well. Kylene, hi fellas, hope you're well. Just wondering if there's any update on the Kids BN subscription program. We have a 12-month-old and started stacking for him early. Fantastic, but the idea of a program sounds great. Once Pakenham's out the way and the renovation of Melbourne is done, then we're going to hit the subscription program pretty hard. So I'm hoping second half of this year, we might be able to kick off with something. Gold Buffaloes, I believe we have a couple in stock, and I believe there's more arriving in a couple of weeks. Happy Friday, Dean. Come on over, but would be great. Matt Power, it will be a random 1/10 gold coin or buyback 1/10 gold on the BAM website. Sorry, I've misunderstood something. I thought you said that you'd received whoever asked about the 1/10 with the maple on it. I thought they said they'd received a 1/10 maple. No, the photo on the website is just a generic 1/10. So you could get anything in that 1/10 thing. Andrew, hey, good friend, as an ex-banker and ex-owner of a mortgage broking, had meeting this morning. 71% mortgage holders don't reduce loan repayments in line with rate. Rate reduction not always a stimulus. I'm not sure I can unpack that quickly, mate. Had meeting this morning. No, 71% mortgage holders don't reduce loan repayments in line with rate. Oh, no, I think I'm understanding now. Okay, so I don't know about everyone else, but some of my my mortgages will reduce at the end of this month in line with this 25 basis point reduction that the Reserve Bank announced. And I think what Andrew's saying there is most people who have a mortgage, even though because they reduce my mortgage, my repayments reduce, most people, 71% in this example, 71% of people actually keep their payments at the same rate that it was before it went down. So Andrew's saying it's not going to stimulate the economy because people are just going to keep paying off their debts rather than taking that extra, $50, $100, $150, whatever it is, and spend it in the community. They will just keep paying off their mortgage slightly quicker, sort of thing. So that will be interesting if that's how it plays out. And look, I think it will. I think the stimulus side of it could be more along new people getting mortgages. Because people are selling, obviously, for other people to get a mortgage, they're usually buying something, so someone's selling. So that may release more funds into the community from that perspective, rather than the older people who have, or the people who've got mortgages already in place that may not reduce their spending habits. Ruben's just left the room to serve in the shop, Laurie, but I'll pass on the message. Do you have a safe brand of preference for those ones that would be interested to get a safe at home? Look, I don't. There's not a brand. So the main brands, you've got Chubb, you've got Spiker, you've got all these sort of guys. They're very good safes. So whether you get one over another really doesn't matter. I'd go for the one that suits your purposes best. What I would caution you against, and Ruben and I did a video 12, 18 months ago on safes, and we actually threw them into a fire, into a bonfire that I had to show how different ones would react. And look, the cheaper ones, like the ones that you can buy in a non-safe shop, if I'm trying not to name names here, but kind of if you wander into a supermarket or a hardware store or something like that, don't buy their safes as a rule, because seriously, you can drop them off the corner of a desk and they will just smash their way open. If you're going to buy a safe, if you're going to go into that hassle of getting one, spend a little. The safes, they're not that expensive. And I tell you what, if you have a break-in, they're a screaming bargain. No matter how much you spend on it, it's expensive until the point where you get burgled. And at that point, if they can't get into the safe, it was the cheapest insurance you've ever bought in your life. So don't be shy of spending a few dollars on getting a decent one. I'm not saying spend a few dollars on any junk that comes along. Find yourself a decent one of the known brands, and buy a decent one. Usually they'll come with a rating, so it'll be rated $250,000 or $500,000 or whatever. And what that means is basically you could park the safe out here on Collins Street and they guarantee up to that amount that no one will be able to get into it. So look at that sort of thing. Get yourself a decent one, and don't be frightened of buying secondhand, because it doesn't matter whether the safe is 6 months old or 60 years old or 160 years old. They're still built they should be still built like a brick outhouse. And the only thing you may need to update, and even this I would argue, would be the mechanism for the lock itself. I would also steer away from personal experience from the classic Hollywood rotary dial ones, because they are an absolute mongrel to try and open under normal circumstances. If you are trying to open one under any form of stressful situation, I will guarantee you that you will not be able to open that safe. So I would suggest go, in my opinion, and I'm not a safe guy, but from the fact that I own many, many safes, I would strongly suggest you go with a PIN code or a key. That's just my opinion, though. Still buying gold, but only fractional stuff. Will soon be out of reach for it. Yeah, it's certainly getting up there, mate. There are other ways to buy it, and I am promoting one of our products, but other people run them as well. You can get them through Perth. You can get them through us. Look at the unallocated programs that are around. Go for a good one that's physically backed, but that's a good way of just buying a smaller amount every week, every month, every so often, whenever you're going to do it. And then when you've saved up the ounce, then you can convert over to the ounce and buy something at a lower premium. So that's not a bad way to do it if you're going, well, I can't afford to buy the ounce straight off, but I can afford to buy, a tenth or a quarter, every so often, and I'll just do it a few times until I can get that ounce. And that way you're still getting the good buy on it. But check out the program first and the company you're going to deal with first. Will you get the 25 Germania 1 kilo silver coin in? We are currently in negotiation for that right as we speak. I believe we're going to see it within a month or less. Just received my 10-ounce kookaburra. Excellent. I'm glad you did. And they have been a bit of a nightmare for us. Do you think Trump will look at Fort Knox? Yeah, and will it be honest? We've already talked about that one. I don't reckon that bloke knows the definition of honest. I'm not sure if you're talking about me or someone else. So come back to me on that one, mate. Got all the flash stuff buybacks from now on. Yeah. New story looks great. New store looks great. Oh, thanks, little coin shop. No worries. I don't know what weekend we're going to open it, mate. We'll go for something. Bought my first coin from you last week. Love them. Thanks. That's fantastic, Ben. Thanks for the feedback. Is there a minimum age limit for purchases? Have a 16-year-old looking to buy. Look, Kelly, there is no... there's no law around. It's not like buying cigarettes or alcohol. There's no law around. You must be X amount of age to buy gold or silver or platinum. You can come in. We've sold to, admittedly, we had a parent or guardian with them, but we've sold to kids that have been 8 or 9 that have been wanting to get into stacking. Used to work for us for quite a while, or used to work for us quite a while ago. But the first time I met Lewis, he was in high school. And he was from South Australia. He was over in Melbourne on a school camp, and he convinced his teacher to bring him in to Bullion Now rather than going to one of the direct outlets or one of those places that the rest of the school or rest of his class was going to come over here and buy gold. And he would have probably been kind of that 13, 14, 15-year-old at that point. So absolutely, you can bring someone in and we'll serve them. Spring, if someone wants to stack more silver bars or coins, if coins mix of different types or just roos. Oh, okay. I think I understand the question. If someone wanted to stack more silver bars or coins, look, I have a bias here. I'm a coin guy. I like collecting coins and old mouldy bars. They're my two bents. The worse the bar looks, the more I like it. But I also like my coins. So I would go, I'm quite happy to spend extra money, extra premium on a coin over a bar. What you've got to, instead of going, which should I get, bars or coins, I'd throw it back to you and say, what is your end goal? If your end scenario is that you just want to be able to walk into a bullion dealer with your silver, drop it on his counter and walk out with a fistful of dollars, then go for a bar every time, because the bars, with the exception of the silver kangaroo in 1 ounce, the bars are always cheaper than the coins. So if that's your intent, if you just want to dump it on a counter and walk out with a fistful of dollars, go for the cheapest premium you can find, which invariably is going to be a buyback in whatever, bar or coin, but bars are usually cheaper. If, however, you want to get other pleasure out of it, I love the coin designs. I love having something unusual. I'm happy to pay that bit extra, and I know that I can probably sell, if I select properly with some good advice from a good bullion dealer or coin dealer, I can buy something that is probably going to appreciate in value irrespective of spot price. So we talked about the opal, the 1 ounce, good grief, what was it? It's a the Australia 1 ounce, whatever it's called, the opal. Oh man, I'm having a seniors moment. Oh, whatever it was called, the 1 ounce coin we were talking about before. That was a 1 ounce silver coin that we'd paid $125 for. Now it's gone up to $1,100 in value. Now a 1 ounce of silver hasn't jumped that far ahead, but it's increased that much all by itself. So, should I buy a bar or a coin? It depends. You can only buy a coin though. Southern Land, Great Southern Land, that's the one. It's only worth buying a coin though if you know how to sell it, because there's no use having an $1,100 coin and then taking it into a bullion dealer who's going to pay you spot for it. So you need to know that you can go into the secondary market. So you could go onto some of these forums online and sell it through that and probably get your $1,100. You can go to those online auctions that I don't like, the ones that start with E and end in Bay. Those types of things you can sell them through that. If you're willing to do those sorts of deals, then absolutely it might be worth going down the coin line. Will there be more gold tail donuts in stock? Yes, I picked some up today, I believe. So we should start seeing them over the weekend or early next week on the website. Whoa. My page just scrolled all the way down to the end and I can't work out where I was up to. So if I've missed your question, just ask it again. Would you pay more for a 1 ounce American Eagle, Buffalo or Aussie Luna as opposed to a Perth Mint? No, is the short answer on that one. How does it actually work with swapping unallocated to metal? So if you've got an ounce of unallocated, let's say you've got an ounce of allocated gold, and you go, okay, well I want that converted into a Perth Mint cast bar, then irrespective of what spot price has done in the meantime, even if it's quadrupled, it doesn't make any difference. You've paid the spot price component of that transaction, and all you're doing is paying the, I should know this, I know, but I don't off the top of my head, the 50 or 60 or 70 bucks, whatever it is, premium over and above spot. That's all you're required to pay to convert it into that 1 ounce 1 ounce Perth Mint cast bar. If you wanted to convert it into a kangaroo and they're $100 over spot, then you just have to pay that $100 extra over the spot price. And that's the way it works. It's really simple. You either walk into the store and say, hey, I want a kangaroo and I want to pay for it with my unallocated and I'll pay the extra with the premium, like the extra premium, or you can place an order over the web and then just in the notes say, I'd like to pay this with my unallocated, and then we'll regenerate the invoice with the little bit of premium that's left over to pay, and we'll send that back to you for payment. So it's a very simple program. Alrighty, it might be a random maple. It could be a random anything, that 1/10 coin we talked about before. Hot and humid in Sydney. I'll believe you on that one. Hit the thumbs up. That would be good. It'd stir Matt and Alex up and Ruben a bit because he's not here now. To say, look how many thumbs up we got when you weren't in here. Spoke to Ryan on the phone to collect something. He's awesome and sounded very professional. Please give him a pat on the back. You have a great team there. I am humbled almost every day with the team that works at BN. They are incredible people, and we are just so fortunate to have them here. It's just fantastic. What's your subscription program going to look like roughly? Yeah, it's too early to start asking those questions. Really enjoying the mailbox format. Thank you. Definitely need a Michael's mailbox every couple of months. They're pretty intense, mate. It takes me a couple of months to get over them. Any update on BN buying Perth Mint? We are in negotiations. Thank you for the update on the kids programs. No worries on that. Any update on the Tudor Panther? Oh man, this one is a thorn in my side. Ask me again next week and I'll try and get a definitive of it because we've got the tracking number for it and I expected it here before the end of this week and it still hasn't arrived. Email updates as new products are added. If you are someone that is keen to write our email newsletter, I would love to do a newsletter very frequently. It doesn't have to be weekly, could even be monthly. I just can't get around to it. We're too busy. So if that's your bent, maybe contact us and let me know, and we'll see if we can come to an arrangement, because it'd be really good to have someone dedicated to do that. Insurance premium hikes will absolutely eat the interest rate drop. If it's not premium, it'll be something else. I don't know what the Lunar Rabbit comment is about. Do you own your BN locations, Melbourne and Pakenham, or do you rent them from other people? Unfortunately, we own Pakenham. That's one of the reasons we moved in there. Unfortunately, we don't own Melbourne. And he's a terrific guy, our landlord, who does own Melbourne. But he's very sentimentally attached to the shop, because he actually ran his jeweller's shop out of the very shop that we operate out of. And it was his first shop that he ever owned and bought, and like all that sort of sentimental stuff that goes with it. So he can't bring himself to sell it to me, but he knows I'm very keen on buying it. And hopefully one day he will sell it to us. Any news on the next Tudor beast? They've got to be not too far away, because Adam is, and this is the what were we talking? The Panther. Adam was getting me to work through pricing on them, so they can't be far away. But like I said, I thought they'd already be here. If bringing palladium into Australia from overseas, do you have to pay the GST when passing customs? I do, because I'm a business. You have slightly different rules if you're coming in as a private person. Depends on how much you're bringing in at the time. Put a cheap safe in it. Yeah, going back to the safe conversation, putting a cheap safe in an obvious position is not a bad idea. Look, one of the things I didn't say about the safe, and it scares me. And you got to remember, you're talking to a guy who has several safes, but I don't actually advocate people buying safes. And I know this sounds really, really strange, but my big concern with a safe is that if I'm the big bad burglar and I'm breaking it, I know that you've got a safe in your house. A, I know that you've got something of value that you're trying to protect. And B, I know that I can't break into it, but I know you can. So therefore, the thought process doesn't take very long before they go, if I can make you open the safe, i.e. threaten you or your loved ones, then I can get into that safe. And all of a sudden, instead of increasing your security, you're exposing yourself and or loved ones to a situation that you don't ever want to get them into. So, look, I'm not saying don't get one. I'm just very nervous when people start talking about safes. And this goes for everything bullion related, precious metals related, but particularly when we're talking safes. Do not tell anyone. That is your best safety and your best form of security. Obviously, you need to tell one person in case you get hit by the proverbial bus, but your biggest security is by telling no one ever about it. All right, I harped on that one enough. How many kilos of honey did you extract this? I haven't had a chance to get to the bees, which is terrible because it's getting to the end of the season. Feel like screams the goodies are in here in the event of a break-in. Yeah, safes. There are other options of storing things other than safes in your own home. I really caution you to think about it before you get a safe, and then think about where you're going to put them. Buy the dips, definitely. Best Cessna model ever made. Look, I'm a big fan of the 177, actually. Why is platinum not going up in price like silver and gold? Platinum has actually gone up. You compare it to 12 months ago, we were around the early 1400s. We're now well and truly in the 1500s. So it's still going up. It may not be shooting the lights out, but it's certainly going up. And you've got to remember, platinum is not like silver and gold, particularly gold. It's almost the complete opposite of gold. Platinum is almost in its entirety a industrial metal. It doesn't have the stability of a stacking metal like gold does, where from you and I through to central banks, we stack it, we hold it, we don't sell it, we hold it for a long time. That gives it that stability of price and that ability to just climb gradually upwards. Silver to a small degree, but particularly platinum, it doesn't. It's almost purely industry based. So if industry is doing well, the price will go up. If industry is not doing well, demand falls off, supply's still there, the price comes down. So it's a different animal, platinum compared to gold. Will you or anyone from BNB at the Stackers meeting this Sunday? There will be some people from Stackers. There will be some people from BN going to Stackers. Unfortunately, I won't be one of them. Invariably, I have a big family, so this is an unfair statement, but invariably it bangs up against a family function that I've got. So I can't get there. Going to the air show, haven't decided if I'm going to Avalon this year. I'm not needed, I don't think. For the people, like long-term viewers here will know that historically I've been involved in the pyrotechnics of air shows. And I'm trying to wind that back a little bit. So I don't believe I'm needed this year, so I'm not sure I'll actually be going. I might have the year off. With the cost of gold running up, I've switched to half ounces with the thought of selling in the future since it might be 10 or 15 grand. Yeah, look, a lot of people, Stephen, are moving to those small, more what we traditionally have called fractional sizes. The 20 gram is very popular out of Perth Mint at the moment. And the half ounce is also quite popular. In the US, I collected coins. In Asia's bars sell better now, so it's bars. Yeah, that's from Malta. Absolutely, it can also be very location specific. My screen just zipped right down to the bottom of the queue again. Sorry, guys. Do bars have a tender price value? Not as a rule, although there are a few out there that are legal tender. Lower premium when buying quite often. Michael, did you see Australia gold reserves being discussed in Parliament? I did, but it's a bit of a beat up. I mean, any advertising is good advertising at the end of the day, but I wouldn't place too much weight on that. Kangaroos in all day in 1 ounce, buybacks even better. Look, we've got kangas, we've got heaps of kangas in stock. We've also got heaps of buybacks in stock at the moment, of all sizes. Again, Malta here. Bars in Korea and Japan sell very well due to the country's high VAT on metals. All sorts of things The advice I gave on coins before is probably, I should have prefaced it with in Australia. Because, if I was living in Europe where silver is very heavily taxed under VAT, I probably wouldn't be buying it. I'd be erring towards platinum, possibly platinum. I don't know what their laws are on that actually, but I'd be erring more towards gold because of that VAT component. If you're in the UK, and Backyard Bullion's the one to talk to about this one, but there are exceptions in the UK where it's got VAT on it, but not if it's this type of coin. And I have a hard enough time keeping up with Australian tax law, never mind trying to quote UK tax law, but there's certainly some idiosyncrasies in there that you would want to manipulate or take advantage of. Manipulate's the wrong word. Take advantage of if you lived in the UK. So it very much would depend on local circumstances to what I've said. Do you sell 1 ounce American gold eagles? No. No, that's not true. Rarely we sell them. The problem is they're not pure gold, so they incur GST in Australia. So you'll have somebody looking at a 1 ounce buffalo or a 1 ounce gold kangaroo or something along those sort of lines, and it will be, I don't know the exact price at the moment, but it'll be spot plus, say, $150, whereas they will look at the American eagle, which is now spot plus 150 plus, at the moment, $450 GST. So it just makes it unviable when compared to these other ones. So we don't tend to hold those. We don't tend to bring in the eagles unless we've got someone saying, I don't care, I actually want to buy eagles, and then we'll bring a chunk in at that point. If you're in Southern California, okay, so if you're in Southern California, we're advertising our competition here. California numismatic investments is pretty good. Kind of the BN of Los Angeles. Good to hear. Every stacker's biggest challenge premium. No, actually, I kind of disagree with that statement. Yeah, okay. Premium is the cost of doing business. It's the cost of investing. Sometimes premium's good because it shows a quality product, and sometimes by premium, paying that little bit extra premium, you get a higher quality product that has more potential for growth. If you're only looking at cheap premium, you don't get those. If the mints could only charge very little premium, they couldn't put the energy into designs and quality control and all those types of things. So premiums, we beat up on it quite a bit, but premium's it's not the big boogeyman that we make it out to be. But again, it comes back to how much pleasure do you get out of various designs and coins and bars in your stack? Like I'm not bagging Perth Mint here, but a Perth Mint, silver cast bar, ho hum. I see literally hundreds of them a day. But you show me a Perth Mint bar from the 80s, it's mouldy, it's gnarly, it's got, it's probably been dinged around, it's got character, it's got flaws, it's got... I chase them every day. I love them, and I'll pay a higher premium for them. And I'm happy to do that, and I like the fact that I'm doing that because it shows that they, if you select carefully, they appreciate over time, even just a mouldy old bar. I could do a whole hour on just premium alone. Don't get me started. We've talked about the 2025 kilo. Anyone here share a web address? I'm new here. I'm not sure what that one means, so I'll come back to it. Dennis, if you expand a little bit. Yeah, cuz. I'm the one that bought the Buyback 10th. Send me anything but another lunar rabbit. I can pretty much guarantee there's no lunar rabbits in the 1/10th buybacks at the moment. And if you write a note on your order to say, please don't send me another, like in the notes section, please don't send me another rabbit, I'll make sure you don't get another rabbit. What are the pros and cons between premium and non-premium, intrinsic tender, silver and Perth Mint? There's lots of pros and cons here, Maximus. Look, the cons are the less you pay on premium, the more you can spend on getting more metal. Okay, that's the biggest pro. The biggest con is usually if you're paying not much premium, you're not getting a high presentation quality. You'll still get 4.9s. It's still pure whatever we're talking about, but the presentation quality may not be as good as something you're paying a bit more premium in. And if you don't care, if the end of the day, as I said earlier on, if your intent is just to take that bar in or coin in, whatever it is, drop it on the counter and walk out with a fistful of dollars, you don't care. So absolutely go for the cheapest possible premium you can find if that's you under those circumstances. However, if you know how to get rid of things at a higher premium on the secondary market, if you know people that you can sell to, if it brings you pleasure, and don't underestimate the value of bringing you pleasure. A beautifully designed coin, an older coin, an old bar, like a character flaw in a bar or a coin, these types of things, they make you smile inside when you look at them. They just, they bring out that feeling in you. You all know what I mean. You may not know it about coins, but there'll be something in your life that brings that, that kind of inner joy to you. If you get that, spend the extra bucks on the premium. Over time, the spot price will catch up. It might even take years. The stuff that I've paid premium on, like 2, 3, 4 years ago, and thought, oh man, I like the coin, but I'm never going to get my money back on this. But sure enough, you wait a few years, and premium is well and truly disappeared into the growth of the spot price, even if the coin itself or bar itself didn't grow. So the pros and cons are there. You get a higher quality usually, not always. Usually you get a higher quality, a higher collectability with a higher premium, not always. Before everyone jumps down my throat, not always. But if you just want bang for the buck, you go for those lower premium, maybe, not always, again, maybe crappy looking bars, but sometimes they're good. Will intrinsic tender ever be making fractional gold? It's not impossible. Absolutely not impossible. There will be a Pakenham opening day. I just don't know when it is. 2020 kookaburras in stock. We had some recently. I don't know if we've still got them. Flying solo, is it a BN union meaning? Yeah. No, it's just the luck of the draw today. Can we do an audit of our gold using 3 independents such as yourself and someone from the government? I don't know what you're referring to there, mate. When am I going to be able to get to the Pakenham store? I'm hoping by the end of March we're up and going. Do you ever sleep? The rumour is I never sleep. I'm sure I must catch a few winks somewhere, but it's few and far between, I can tell you. We don't want Michael buying Perth Mint. He'll put up the price of silver kangaroos. You would be correct. That was one of the first things I would do is put up their price of the kangaroos. Is this interstate store still happening? Yes. But there would be an S on the interstate stores. Hey, Michael, I missed you during your trip to Berlin. This is Glenn, but I travelled down from Brisbane to sell my silver. Ruben was awesome, and I can attest that your hallway fills up fast. Does. It's been a funny day today, though. Like you walk out there and there's 12 people in the queue and, trying to lock. So there you go. Can a Bullion Now staff member get Michael a glass of scotch? I wouldn't mind if I'm completely honest. Must be close to Rectangle Dragon release time. It's not yet, but it's not that far away. Kebab King sold some silver into a major dealer and they almost refused to buy back non-brand name silver despite the coin checking out as 1 ounce. Why might this? Some businesses only want recognised LBMA brands. And I get it. I get there's a risk with buying, you're worried about buying something fake and all those types of things, particularly if you don't have either experienced staff and a good way to test that product. So I get why they would do it. If we can test it and we're satisfied that the test is legit, and that comes back to having experienced staff, because an XRF is very, very, very good, but it can be fooled, and that's where you come back to experienced staff. So we buy pretty much everything that comes through the store. It's an unusual day we turn something down. It has happened, but it's unusual. I can't speak on behalf of others, but it could just be that they don't have the experience, they don't have the equipment, or they're just not prepared to take the risk. It can also be, like, we don't care what comes in to a large degree because we have the contacts to get things remanufactured. So if you brought in some terribly mouldy old thing that was hideously ugly and I didn't know what this is, I want to say this has never happened yet, and we've had some hideous stuff come in, I can tell you. But if it was so hideous and so terrible that I didn't think we could sell it, I'd still pay spot for it because I know that I can send it straight off to one of the refiners, get it, if I had to, get it refined, but realistically it's usually just melted down and turned into a bright, shiny bar again. So, from our perspective, I wouldn't see a problem with it. Can unallocated 1 ounce and 1 gram interchangeable for the same metal? Please don't make me say yes to this on camera because I really don't want to start this game. It's horrendous when we have to do it. It is possible, but we really don't like it. How old is Little Coin Shop? Officially, I think it opened in 2011, but unofficially it's been running probably about 40 years now. True about the safes. Yeah, I have some very strong opinions about safes and quite happy to do a burst on them one day. Nesquik tin in the pantry. Mate, it amazes me where people stash their precious metals. It's all over the shop. Any plans on making an April Fool's? Just skipped out on me. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to find where I was.
Yeah. Any plans on making an April Fool's video?
Well, I can't tell you that because that would spoil it if we did. Rig the safe, yeah. When I sell it back to you, not to us as a bullion dealer. We don't care what it is, what shape it is, any of those sorts of things. We just care that it's bullion and we pay spot price. So that's an advantage if you're bringing in, bars and normal coins. That's a disadvantage if you've got something proof or collectible because we don't pay for it. We don't recognise that increase in value. That's where you need to take it to a coin dealer or something along those sort of lines. Anthony, that's why they trash your house when they rob it. They throw everything on the floor, including books. Yeah, they're looking for the magic next quit. That's correct. Do you think the sales of 1 ounce gold will drop once they reach over $5,000? Desi, this is a great question, and this is a constant argument around our office. The short answer is 6 months ago, I would have said absolutely it will drop off. And historically, that's what we've seen. So when the 100 grammer went through 500, went through $5,000, demand for it dropped off. And when it went through 10 grand, demand for it dropped off again. 50 grammer, same deal. 2 ouncer, same deal. Tail, we all got really nervous as the tail, which is 37.5 grams. It's the donut that you see every so often. Very, very popular. As that approached $5,000, Ads and I both started scaling back our ordering of the donut, the tail, because we didn't want to get stuck with them. And I got to tell you, it clicked through $5,000 and didn't miss a beat. And we got caught short-footed on that one and had to, start ordering quickly because the demand just stayed there, and it's still there. So I suspect that the 1 ounce may be the same because people want the 1 ounce. And look, I don't think I think people are becoming less concerned about that $5,000 barrier as they get used to it a bit more and more. So I don't think it's the boogeyman we're all making it out to be at the moment. Good information here, but how can someone buy from him? If you're talking about us, we have a website, bullionnow.com.au, or you can make a phone call. If you're in Australia, 1300 84 84 10. If you're international, you'll have to go to our website because I can't remember the international number. You can send us an email, sales@bullionnow.com.au, or if you're in town, you can come into the store, level 6, 227 Collins Street in Melbourne. Alrighty. And Midnight Gardeners just emphasised what I just said.
Sorry, to quickly jump in for those that can hear, I think something's going on and it's a YouTube side because everything my end seems fine. I've pulled up the stream. There's a few people having sound issues. So, yeah, if you go back out and in again, it seems to fix it up. It seems to be YouTube's end, sorry.
Yep, the Krugerrand is the same problem as the Eagle, the gold Krugerrand. It's not pure, so it incurs GST. I've always got very good money selling my gold at pawn shops in Japan. Thanks, Jamie. I love to hear local advice. I wouldn't know anything about that one. Premium vanishes into the ether during buyback. Yes, it does. Are sovereigns at 22k pure just as good as Anthony? Are they easy enough to sell back, or is the testing for purity a bit more difficult? Okay, so there's a couple of questions that I need to unpack there. Sovereigns in some ways are better than 4.9s because they are accepted all around the world very, very easily. The downside of them in Australia is because they're not pure, they incur GST. But they are still very, very easy to sell, both to a bullion dealer or to a coin dealer or to the average mug on the street, because we still know what, as a rule, people still know what sovereigns are. The testing for the purity is not difficult. If you've got an XRF, it's a piece of cake. What do you think about the gold notes that are notes with a little bit of gold in them? Depends. If we're talking about the gold backs, look, I like them as a collector piece. In Australia, that's all they are currently. In the US, it's a little bit different because you can actually use them in some parts of the US. So I'd have a different opinion of them if I lived in the US. But in Australia, they're a good collector piece. The artwork on them is stunning, some of them. But as an everyday stacking item, not a huge fan. Malta, I appreciate the stream. No worries, mate. Not many channels interact with viewers anymore, and certainly not like you're doing. It's because it's exhausting, let me tell you. Given you pay, this is from Pez, given you pay spot on any gold, as an investor, should I only buy Perth Mint plain bars? Is there any reason apart from the numismatic quality to buy anything else? Oh, that's a case-by-case scenario. So I have people that come in here and say, I just want the cheapest, crappiest, lowest premium product you've got. And usually that's either locally produced or a buyback if we've got buybacks in stock. You pay the lowest premium, but it's a lucky dip, or it's locally produced. Then I have other people that come in and say, look, I want the cheapest premium I can get, but I want that sleep at night factor. I want something that's LBMA registered. It's got a name behind it. In that case, you're going to pay a little bit more, and you're going to buy the Perth Mint. So it's not the cheapest you can get away with, but it's the next best thing. You're buying a Perth Mint, which is a well-known brand all around the world and well-respected. It's LBMA registered. It ticks all the boxes. Yeah, I'm paying a bit more for it, but I know at night I'm not going to wake up in the middle of the night going, oh, I wonder if this thing's real. I wonder if I've just been done, because you know that it's a good brand. And the same with the likes of Pamp or Valcambi or any of those, but you're going to pay more for them in Australia because we've got to import them from overseas, and obviously that brings its own cost in on top of that as well. But sometimes, I come back to what's your intent at the end. If your intent is purely just to dump it on the counter of a bullion dealer and walk out with a fistful of dollars, find the cheapest premium product that you are comfortable with. Meaning, if you don't want to buy a buyback or a locally produced because you're not sure of, it's going to keep you up at night, or in my case, worse still, it would keep my wife up at night, which would keep me up at night. I would, if I didn't own Bullion Now and I was just walking in off the street, I would buy Perth Mint every day of the week. And it's purely not for my sanity. Well, no, it is for my sanity. It's purely to keep my wife happy because she goes, okay, well, that's a known brand and I like that. And so there's the comfort factor there. So go with the cheapest one. If your intent is just to dump it on a bullion dealer, go with the cheapest bullion that you and or your significant other is comfortable with. I hope that answers the question there. Do you have any buyback gold in the stock at the moment? Yes, we do. Hasn't been much at all on the website this week. Mate, we can't keep up with it. It is going out as fast as it's coming in. And look, we are getting a lot in, I've got to say. January is buyback month when all the product comes in for buyback because people get their Christmas bills, they get their holiday bill, and they get their private school fees and all that sort of stuff. So January is always the hot month for buybacks. This year, December started, end of November started December, the buybacks started rolling in pretty heavily. Because of the increase in spot price and people were trying to get ahead of the curve. It kept it up all the way through January. And I got to say, it's rolled through February as well. The buybacks are still up there, but they are going out as fast, if not faster, than they are coming in. SOVs are very liquid. Yeah, this is Kebab King. But they do incur GST in Australia, not in other countries around the world, though. And you might not get back all the spot price when you sell it. Yeah, possibly. I could buy a 1 ounce silver coin from RAM today for 150, sell it to a coin shop tomorrow for 50, losing $100 in 24 hours. Yeah, but my argument against that, Sierra, would be I wouldn't be buying physical if your intent is to turn it over in 24 hours. There are far better ways to play the market if you are looking at a very fast turnaround, and buying coins is not the way to do it in any circumstance that I can think of. Germanium Mint gives me that feeling. I just grabbed a 1 kilo copper bar just because. That's from Anthony, and I have to admit I smuggled one out as well for similar reasons. I just like them. They're just nice. And it's a cheap... I don't care if the kids show their mates their 1 kilo copper bar. It gives them a buzz and it looks good, and it's kind of that... It gives you that statement piece without breaking the bank and stressing too much about. So I actually think they're great, despite the comments that we sometimes get over the copper. Over time, this is from Peter, over time, the wonder of where has that coin been? Yeah, I totally relate to this one. I have some 1914 Austrian gold. It looks cool, and 2 world wars, just that. That's a wonder alone. How did it get to Australia? I love that. It's one of the reasons I love sovereigns, because they came through the gold, like Australian sovereigns. They will have come through the gold rush of Australia. They will have seen the Federation of Australia. They'll have seen the banking collapse in the late 1800s. They will have seen World War I. They will have seen the Great Depression and survived through it if I've got them in my hand. They'll have seen World War II, Korea, Vietnam, all the things, the oil crisis, all these things that have occurred, and this coin has gone through it and the stories it could tell. And I often refer back to one gentleman that we had come in who unfortunately didn't sell me the coin. He just wanted to test it, but it was the sovereign that his father had kept in his bomber jacket when he'd been on Lancasters during World War II. Fascinating stories like that come out of these older coins, and it just blows your socks off. Stores plural. I do regret actually admitting to that. Elon Musk should engage BN to audit Fort Knox. Oh, no way. I'm not going near that can of worms. Objective sovereignty, most likely soul memory. You're subconsciously remembering finding shiny metals in the river. I'm not sure what that's referring to. Tried to sell a ducat back to a dealer once, and they literally had no idea what it was. Its fineness and underquotes hugely. Yes. Look, we can't... Okay, I laughed then because we deal with ducats semi-frequently, but we can't... There are so many coins out there. We can't know... Matt is a bit of a oddity where he seems to know just about everything about every coin that exists, but most normal people, like the rest of us, we can't know everything about every coin that comes in. I have to admit, every so often I go and, have to go, how much, gold purity of, XYZ coin. That was a weak answer, Mike. Audit our gold properly in London. Sorry, mate. So there's a big chunk on buffering here. I'll try and skip through that. Something about sending an email 2 weeks ago, and I think it says we haven't responded. So.
Yeah, this one I've got to chase with you because you gave a contrary answer to something in a live stream, then I have to go back and find your answer to what the dispatch team has told me is the answer. This was in regards to the value of products being shipped out. If it would ever exceed the $17.50 if it was below a certain weight. And Dispatch is telling me that, yes, absolutely, because of insurance and the added value, it would need to be more than $17.50. But I'm pretty sure in the stream that you said...
I'm pretty sure I said it didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, look, they might be right. It would be unusual, but it might be. They probably are right on that one.
So I haven't responded to that email yet because I've needed to hunt back to find exactly what you said on the matter. But Dispatch were very quick to tell me, no, that's that's not how it works.
I'm about to lose my computer due power. Any chance you've got a way to charge my computer?
I will disappear for a second and
it needs a fairly super. I don't know if it can draw enough off that.
I don't think so. I'll go for a run.
If you go and grab the one off Nate's desk, that one charges it for me. Sorry, mate. Who's going to buy my stack if the price of gold and silver goes to the price some people are predicting? Bullion and coin stores only have so much money and would have to turn people away. People were saying this to me. When gold was $1,500 an ounce, people would say, oh, what are you going to do if it hits $4,000 an ounce? No one's going to buy it. Bring it in today, I'll buy it from you. The market just keeps moving. We keep up with it. If we're hedging properly and all those types of things, it wouldn't matter if gold went to $100,000 an ounce. We'd still be buying it and we'd still be selling it. So don't let that worry you. I mean, I'm going back to when I was quite a lot younger and I used to have colour in my hair and things like that. But I can remember when people were saying $1,000, there's no way gold will go through $1,000 Australian an ounce. It will never do it. No one would ever buy gold at $1,000 an ounce. That is just ridiculous. And yet, if I offered you gold at $1,000 an ounce, I would get killed in the rush. And absolutely, we'd buy it at $1,000 an ounce or at $4,000 an ounce, and we'd still be buying it $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 an ounce without a problem. What's the best coin bar you have sent to the refiners? I don't know. Usually it's we don't send that much to refiners usually. I mean, we do buy some stuff in to actually send to have melted, but it's pretty unusual we buy a coin, particularly a coin, but even a bar. Because usually... I'm weird this way. The really mouldy, horrible ones that most normal people would send to a refinery, I actually buy for myself because I love them. They're fantastic. All right, took a few weeks to process my shipping order after the Christmas break. Yeah, sorry about that, mate, but we all had some time off. Can we have a live stream from Michael's Fort Knox safe? I would love to, and I'm actually thinking about doing a live stream from inside the vault in Pakenham. So we'll see that one, mate. I'll have to swing, excuse me being rude, I'm going to swing my computer around slightly so it gets power. I'd love to know some crazy places people keep their stash. Yeah, most people, if they're sensible, won't tell you they're crazy places because then they have to move them. Hey, Michael, any advice on older XAG rounds? Yeah, some of them, I've missed a couple there, sorry. Some of those older XAGs actually fetch some serious dollars. Trying to think where you get the best information on those things. If you've got some older ones, you could send in a photo and I can probably pass it on. I'm not really willing to give contact details of someone I haven't asked if it's okay to do yet. But yeah, if you send us some photos of some old XAGs that you've got, I'll put some feelers out for you. Crossover coin between the wombat and the koala. Oh, April Fools, I got you. Sound issues, yep. With the catching every second word. Is Bullion Now attending the gold conference in Sydney this year? Don't know because I don't actually think it's in Sydney. I think they've moved it to the Gold Coast. But yeah, we'll see what happens there. Obviously, there was some sound issues. It was probably when I was talking about the special we were having, and it only lasted a few moments, and I was doing gold at $15 an ounce.
Sorry if you missed it.
Sorry if you missed that one, guys. Mr. Anderson, we discussed this one earlier. I don't place. If you want to bag out Australian gold reserves and you're a politician, do it outside of Parliament without parliamentary privilege. Otherwise, you're being a wuss and you're just hiding behind things and you're not serious about it. It really makes me annoyed when politicians, particularly senators, hide behind parliamentary privilege and try to make themselves look good without actually doing anything. I don't know. Did it sound like I'm on a soapbox there? Because I certainly feel like it. Sovereigns in England do not, as far as I'm aware, and I'm not an expert on British tax, let's be clear about that, but as far as I'm aware, sovereigns in the UK do not incur VAT. will you be getting Florida goldbacks in? We are. Yes is the short answer. We're having a little bit of difficulty, but yes is the short answer. People were saying that, but how paid per hour back then? Not sure.
This is in regards to ask yourself in 5 years if I should have bought.
I did I don't think Ruben's released it yet. I did a musings of a bullion dealer the other night when I was the other morning. It was like 3 a.m.
That's nice for me.
When I was driving into work, I did a musings in the back of the car. So I don't know, Ruben, was the footage too grainy or the sound too terrible? Are we going to release that one or not?
We're still planning on releasing it.
Okay.
I think it's still relevant.
You'll have to excuse the cruddy work because I'd set up a camera in the car as I was driving. I didn't set it up while I was driving. It was set up and then I was driving. Let's be clear about that, Mr. Policeman. So I maintain control of the vehicle at all times, looking straight ahead. So I talked about this on that a little bit, where if you get into proper assets, so I'm talking hard assets here, physical assets, if you can maintain them for at least 5 years, there are very few assets or very few periods of time where things aren't dearer in 5 years' time than they are now. I mean, we're all old enough. I pretty much guarantee everyone watching this video right now is old enough to recognise inflation in some form. And inflation very rarely goes the other way. It always goes upwards. Now, yes, something can stay pushed down for 5 years. Absolutely it can. But I can tell you from my 52 years on this earth, usually within 5 years and certainly within 10 years, any of the proper assets that I've bought, at the time I buy it, I inevitably get buyer's remorse and feel ripped off. I did when I bought our house. I think, man, I overpaid for this. Couple of years' time, I start going, oh, well, it wasn't that bad a buy, I suppose. Yeah, it was okay. 5 years' time, I'm starting to look pretty smart. In 10 years' time, I'm a flaming genius that I recognised that was going to be so cheap back then. I mean, I tell tales of buying a house at $25,000. Our first house that I ever bought was $25,320, came fully furnished with 4 weeks' rent. And at the time, everyone's saying, you are an idiot. You have been so ripped off, it's not funny. And it took me quite a while to get over that, because I was very young at that point. And I seriously wondered if I'd been ripped off. Now, if I said to you today that you can buy a house for I bought a house for $25,000, 2-bedroom house. It was a basic house. It was a 2-bedroom house on a quarter acre, just over 1,000 square metres, in a fairly major regional town that wasn't subject to mining booms or busts or anything like that. It's just a normal country town in Victoria. You'd think I was a flaming genius. Time cures these things with sensible. I'm not saying go out and buy any rubbish investment, but sensible investment. That 5-year mark is usually the ticking point where it actually starts making sense. With regards to sovereigns, do you sell very worn ones at slightly lower price because it probably won't weigh the same as a brand new one? Look, like if something was like that, we probably would, but we don't tend to get them in that look like that as a rule. And I can't think of any. I'm sure there must be one or two that have come through, but I can't think of any off the top of my head.
Well, and look, they're ever so slightly above the weight as stated as well, and so they're accounting for some level of wear in the weight stated. So
yeah.
It's been a while. I don't think I've seen one that's
not in. I have in silver, like the pre-decimal stuff. Quite often we see that the older stuff we see that worn down. Usually, if they're really badly worn, I pull them out of the system and I usually keep them for myself. Yeah, look, I wouldn't be averse to it, but it would be pretty unusual that would happen. Sovs all sold out. I doubt. I've still got a couple of hundred Sovs.
I've found the listing for it and
they're sold out.
No, they're still there.
They're still there. Yeah.
Yep.
So we should still have Sovs. I got 3 Sovs. It's a great way of thinking. When will BN bring out silver gold pages for shops that are happy to take payment in silver gold? That's something I'd love to do, Sid, but it is so far down the list of things that I want to get done. So that's recognising different businesses and tradies and things like that will take gold or silver as payment. Michael, would you consider doing an interview with Francis Hunt, the market sniper? Yeah, we'd consider interviewing anyone. Notice I didn't say we'd do it. We'd certainly consider it. Have you cracked the secret to a happy wife? Oh, dear, I have an incredible wife. I don't know how she puts up with me some days. Imagine living with a hyperactive person who very rarely sleeps and sets up businesses all over the place. You know, you're like, I must be hell to live with. Got more 1/10 coins to put up? Honestly, I don't know. They come and go really quickly.
Alex is all over that at the moment, and he's actually put a reply to that one a little bit further down.
Anytime I buy fun stuff, I think I need to work X hours to pay for this. Used to have a really good friend that valued everything in McDonald's Happy Meals. So if anything that she bought, she went, well, that's one less Happy Meal I can buy. Believe it or not, she was as skinny as a rake, and I still can't work that one out. Even to the point where when she bought her first house, when she came round to tell us, she was all happy and smiles, and the first thing she said was, this cost me X number of Happy Meals to buy, which made me laugh at the time. So, yeah, it's a good way of doing it, relating it to how many hours or how many things I could have actually bought with that. Ruben, what's your favourite series?
The Peter McKinnon photo series out of the Royal Canadian Mint. It's a nice hybrid crossover between my love of bullion and photography and cameras. So
there you go. Have you found a capsule for your moon landing?
I haven't. I need to get someone to chase Ram for one, because the gold domed capsules are hard to come by. Hello,
Calypso. I'm assuming that's a dig at my jumper and shirt today. That's Midnight Gardener. Scottsdale Alien coming in very, very soon. 1/10 the keepers. Yep, and the 1/10 Alien is a great one. We've taken a quarter of the production is coming to Bullion Now, so that will be a very good one. Why are the common folk not shorting gold by buying all of it up? I think more and more people are doing that. Calypso, how can you tell a real sovereign from a recast jewellery sovereign? It can be very, very difficult, but usually they have a shine to them. They look that little bit shinier, and the design is not usually quite so crisp. Even on worn ones, the edges just don't. On a jeweller's one, this isn't a bulletproof system, but on the jeweller's one, they're usually rounded because they're usually a cast of a cast to produce it. So they lose that sharpness to the edges of the designs.
I'm hoping you weren't intentionally dodging the one from Jet. We don't have any 1990 kookaburras. No. And yeah, Wynyard Coin Shop has been around for quite a while.
Yeah, sorry. I'm trying to get to the bottom as quick as I can, so I apologise if I'm skipping things. I'm not doing it intentionally, and I did miss that one. And then my page just skips all the way straight to the bottom, and I've got to try and work out where I was back at.
Regarding brands, recently sold some gold in Ho Chi Minh City. No problems with Perth Mint or PAMP, but no dealer would buy the intrinsic tender.
Yeah, not surprised, because they don't know what it is. I had a similar problem. If I'm taking them overseas, I will always take a known international brand. Perth Mint, PAMP, Balcambi, those types of things with me. I won't take local products, because I did this experiment. I put it on camera, but I don't think it ever made it to YouTube, where I went into
I never saw that footage.
I was going to say it's before your time. It wouldn't have been before your time, but it was probably when you first started with me, that trip that I was in Germany for. I may even still have it somewhere. But I went into a bullion store or a gold buying store over in Berlin, presented the Perth Mint bar. Yep, no worries. Here's your euros. See you later. Then I presented a locally produced bar, and they looked at it, and they looked at me, and they looked at it, and they looked at me, and they went, what the hell's this? And I went, it's just it's an Australian brand produced in Australia. And they looked at it, and they looked at me, and they looked at it, and looked at me. And they don't carry XRFs or anything like that over there. So they went, look, come back tomorrow, we'll have it tested, and if it's right, we'll pay it out. So, look, they did pay it out in full. I still got the same amount of euros for it, or its comparison spotted moved slightly overnight. But it was that degree harder to sell. So I'd suggest if you ever intend on selling things overseas, bite the bullet, pay that extra $5 or $10, and that's all it usually is, and buy the Perth Mint bar or something like that, rather than trying to save that $5 and going for a locally produced in that example. Regarding brands, oh no, that's the one you just read. Off the top of your head, how many grams of pure gold does a SOV have? It's around about 10 grams. Is it 9 point?
I think 7.3 something.
Oh, that's right. It is too.
Yeah. 0.2354 of an ounce.
Yeah, of an ounce. That's right. My silver purchase this morning wasn't a bullion one. Like what you were saying about the stories behind sovereigns, I bought a War of the Roses era groat. Oh, groat, not goat. Yes, on the numismatic side, but very cool. And that's what it's all about. Like, yeah, absolutely. You've got to have some stack. And I encourage you to buy some stuff that you don't care about. Perth Mint kilo bars, in obviously I'm talking silver here. Well, in gold as well. Something like that you don't care about, because even if you have to sell it, you can replace it. Like, it's not like parting with one of your children. So make sure you have that, because you are buying your stack to sell it one day. But also get some of the cool stuff, because some of the cool stuff is really cool. Purple Penny Coin Shop did don't know about that one. Great story on a holy dollar seized by Fed and returned to Poland Museum. There you go. Still hoping for some BN Bullion Bags merch saying my money didn't jiggle. It clinks.
There's a popular internet thing that went, my money don't jiggle, it folds. And so...
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
I don't keep up with the times. I'm terrible. Will you buy it if it jumps to 100 grand overnight? Yeah, we would.
Because we'll be selling it for over 100k.
Yeah, and I'll guarantee one of the oddities of this business, and I know people don't believe me when I say this, but one of the oddities of this business is the fact that if spot goes up, and if it really goes up, we are busier than ever with sales. If spot goes down, sales stop. So we would have more of a problem if gold went to $2,000 tomorrow Australian than if it went to $100,000 Australian tomorrow, assuming I'd hedged correctly overnight. But, we'd have far more problem, because no one would walk in the door and we would have a dead quiet Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So I have more fear. I don't fear it going down. That's not a correct statement, but it would have more impact on us, I think, if it went down a lot rather than if it went up a lot. I can remember complaining when it was $350 US an ounce. Yeah, I've made similar comments and embarrassed myself about things like that. Rumours are Michael's house's structures are made out of gold. No, they're not. You need a long Ethernet cable because they aren't going to get reception in the vault. Believe it or not, we are fitting a repeater into the vault because I need internet access inside our vault. Can you buy babushka safes? No clue.
No, it's like putting a safe inside.
Yeah, no clue.
No.
I suppose you could. I sold a lot of gold for $15 a gram. Now look at it. Yeah, I can say similar things, GR. It is what it is. Has Agor Haraeus suspended sales to retail bullies like BN? That is what I was told in Singapore. I haven't placed a Haraeus order in the last couple of months, but they were certainly talking to us in Berlin. So not that I'm aware of. I'll put it that way. Has the pace of gold price increases recently changed the way you hedge? Have you gone longer gold, or has it made no difference? As far as the company's concerned, we haven't changed anything. I might have personally for my stuff, but there is no way I'd jeopardise the company by trying to play the market by hedging in different ways. We have what we consider to be a neutral position, and we hedge to that plus or minus a small amount. We have a tolerance built in. We don't have to go to the exact gram. We have a tolerance built in, but we always hedge back to that position. We always hedge back to that position, because the day we don't, because there has been once or twice where I've gone, I'm too exhausted, I'll sort this out in the morning, and every time it's bitten me on the backside. So we just don't do it anymore. We always hedge back to that position. Michael, do you keep bullion in specialised vault companies as a way of spreading risk? The short answer is yes, but it's a far more complicated question, or answer to that question. What about hiding it under a station platform like back in the day with barrels of cash? You can store them all sorts of places. Can I pay in USD even though I order it in Australia? Yes, you can, TCT. But you need to kind of coordinate that one with us a little bit. Yes, sovereigns in the UK are both VAT and capital gains tax free. Yeah, they have this weird thing over there, mate, where, like almost all good coins post 1830. They have this weird thing where I think it's government coins of the realm, I think it is, are exempt from both VAT and capital gains tax unless they're over 270 years old or something like that, and then they incur something or other. Or seriously, watch Backyard Bullion has a brilliant YouTube channel. Get onto there one day and ask him. He knows the ins and outs of it. He's actually very good. I love the musings of a bullion dealer vids. Thanks, Pete. I appreciate you saying that. I sometimes wonder because I'm usually doing them in a hurry. And like I said, I set up I'll have some burning desire to say something before I leave home. So I'll set a camera up in the car before I leave home, and then I have to wait until I get in town so there's enough street light. Otherwise, it's just a voice in the pitch black. And people look at me weird when they're driving past because I'm having a very in-depth conversation with myself as I'm driving along. So, yeah, I'm glad you appreciate it because there's quite a bit goes into those things, believe it or not. I don't understand that one, Calypso. I don't think I was meant to. How come I just got a notification from Matt? I can't answer that one either. House for 25k is a bargain. Hard to even get a car for that. Yeah, like I said, now I look like a genius. Back then, man, I tell you what, I got laughed at a few times over that one. Mind you, we sold it. It was the thing that cracks me up, and I've talked about this on camera before. We bought them for $25,000, and people, I had good friends, people that I looked up to, very highly qualified accountants and all that sort of stuff, were going, "You're an idiot. You've blown your dough. You've lost money. You're going to have to write that one off as a learning experience." And I'm not kidding, because we actually bought several houses at that point. I went on a bit of a buying spree. At $25,000, I think, was the most we'd paid for a house for quite a while. We picked up one we could have picked up one. We didn't actually do it for, I think it was $12,000 at an auction. And it was perfectly livable. Anyway, I'm getting off track. 5 years after that, the very people who were telling me that I'd lose my shirt over this $25,000 house were buying those houses off me for $100,000. I just, at that point, I'd kind of worked things out a little bit more. I had a bit more experience under my head, but I was scratching my head going, right, so this house was a rip-off at $25,000, but apparently it's a screaming bargain at $100,000. This doesn't make any sense to me at all. Yeah, same when I bought my house, everyone going full, not anymore. That was from Brian. Calypso, if Michael sees something he wants, does he just take it or does he buy it from the company? No, I have to buy it. And the bigger problem is I have to justify it to my wife. And that's no mean feat, I can tell you. If you had no gold or silver and could only choose one coin to buy yourself, what would you choose? It depends. Does it have to be a currently available one that's coming out? Actually, the next one I'd probably buy is the 1/10th Alien. It's probably the next one on my hit list that I think will increase in value over time. Hard assets. You can't beat hard assets, Pete. Are we getting close to the Guinness World Record for the most questions answered in 90 minutes? Possibly. Are you guys interested in rare sovs and Adelaide Pound? I love them. Absolutely, if you want to sell them for spot every day of the week. If you're interested in selling particularly the Adelaide Pound, I have a burning desire to buy one. Not sure I can afford it at the moment, but if you ever want to sell one, let me know, and we can at least have a conversation. I don't think it'll be satisfactory for me, but yeah, I'm certainly open to having the conversation. G'day, John Thomas from Florida. Had new buybacks, but too high premium. Yeah, they can be. Can we pay for bullion in Happy Meals? No. I'm trying to not be this shape any longer, not continue it. Happy to help out with getting a list of businesses that take, XYZ. That would be great, but I don't have the time to coordinate that at the moment. I've just lost my page.
Is it thankful to your wife for putting up with you and allowing you to dedicate so much time to the educational activities of Bullion Now?
Aircon must be flat out in the office. Actually, there is no aircon in this office. I'm actually baking a little bit, but it's 4 o'clock and I'm about to shut us down. Comment there for you, Rubes, that I don't even understand. Pakenham will be a 4-beer trip. Might be. I compare the stuff to the price of a T-bone. I like your style, Damien. I can do that as well. Michael needs to get out of the Snakes and Ladders app.
I think that was in reference to you trying to get to the bottom of the the questions and you're just falling
okay.
further and further behind, I think.
Is RA Mint known worldwide? Is that if it's a Royal Australian Mint? Absolutely, it is. Scottsdale trip was nice to see. Nice to know they trusted you. 7.9. Do all Canadian and Australian coins have the Queen or King on the reverse side? No, they have them on the obverse side. Not the reverse, but yes, if they are Australian legal tender or Canadian legal tender, I'm not a constitutional law expert at this point, but my understanding is they must have the monarchy on them to be considered a coin. Costco has been great for 1 ounce bars lately. In the States, possibly. In Australia, it's a bit hit and miss with that one.
They definitely don't sell buffaloes here.
I think it's 4 o'clock and we should hit the rapid fire questions.
Isn't that basically what we're doing? Or do you just want me to take over asking them?
Go for it.
Have you seen a video out of China of wholesale kilo gold bar monster boxes?
No.
Thanks to your videos, I am now an owner of a 10-ounce 2020 Brittany's. I'm going to say Britannia 2025 Howdy from Texas.
G'day, Metals Gear.
Check out the prices of the Willy Wonka 5-gram golds. Anything from Austrian Mint. The hologram horse is wild.
Yeah, we went and visited the Austrian Mint, and we are going to be bringing in some of their other stuff. Yes.
Any questions about Thompson's coins? We're not going to be able to answer here,
Yeah.
sorry. How much gold would you say in a week, month, year? I'm going to guess sell.
How much do we sell? Oh, good grief. I'll pass.
Only 3,000
Lots.
5-gram Wonka bars made. I think that's right. Does your unallocated last for 3 months before you choose what to do with it, like in storage?
No, you can hold the unallocated. We've had people hold unallocated since we first opened it. There is no restriction on how long you hold it for, and there is no charge on that on an annual fee or anything along those sort of lines. The only charge against it is when you either convert it into a physical product. At that point, you'll pay the premium difference, or alternatively, if you want to cash it out, at that point, you lose $30 an ounce for gold or $1 a gram for gold, or $30 a kilo for silver, or $1 an ounce for silver.
Stephen wanting to know your salary back when you were buying houses that cheap. I bet you weren't making $100,000 a year.
I can guarantee you I wasn't making $100,000 a year. I think we were lucky if we were making $150 a week at that point.
Best Cessna model ever made.
Okay. Well, we could expand this one. I said, because this was asked before, and I said the 177. But, you know, if we're going to go the Cessna Dragonfly, that's pretty impressive. Some of the new Cessnas coming out are pretty impressive.
Rapid fire doesn't work when we get you onto aviation, does it?
Sorry. Yeah, keep going. I'll shut up.
No, that makes me sound terrible. I'm just pointing out once we get onto aviation, it changes. Will we be getting in the 2025 Germania 1 kilo silver coin?
Probably. I'm pretty sure we've ordered it, but I don't have the order sheet in front of me, so I can't guarantee it.
When's the next Tudor Beast arriving?
As soon as I'm assuming it's stuck in customs at the moment because it should have been here this week.
Knackers O'Reilly enjoying the change in format. Would you sell bullion for chocolate-coated sultanas?
Absolutely. That is a weakness for me.
Aaron wants to catch up with you at 11 o'clock on Monday and lock in a bit of an appointment with you.
I don't have my diary with me, mate. I can't guarantee it, but you'll be right up there with the priorities, mate.
Any 1/10 gold kangaroos with the windmill in the background coming in soon, please?
I'm trying to remember what year that was.
It's not the last year's. I'm blanking now as well.
Yeah.
So the 2024?
Tell me what year it is, Tanya, and I'll tell you if they're coming in.
Pretty sure that was the 2024. Could be crazy there. Kookaburra Fractional, gold, platinum, any word if it is continuing?
Sorry, ask the question again.
Fractional Kookaburras in the gold and the platinum. Any idea if that series is continuing?
No idea. I really need to ask Perthmead about this one because it keeps coming up.
Any pandas coming this year?
Possibly. I'm feeling like Father Christmas sparked.
Midnight Gardener wants to know when we're getting any of those 10 kilo maples.
I wish. If I can get hold of them, we will.
Nathan Boy reckons you're beating Trump in the amount of questions answered in the short period. Malta helping us out there. It's the 2023
my
kangaroo. Are we doing anything with the Aviation Now live stream?
Funnily enough, I was thinking about doing something along those lines not that long ago.
How come the Dragon Silver bars have a lower price on the Perth Mint website when opposed to the Kangaroos?
The Dragon Silver bars as opposed to a kangaroo, because they are a bar, they are not a coin, so they can produce them en masse without having to worry about treasury.
We're at the bottom.
The windmill is 2012 and 2013, so mate, they'd be only coming in buybacks if that's the case. So I can't tell you when they would come in. Wouldn't know. Sure, live rent went flying. No, we can't get me up with a full head of steam when I'm flying. That gets dangerous. Windmill is 2023 apparently. And again, I might be able to source old stock, but we'd be hard pushed on that one. Alrighty, we need to draw a line under that one.
Sorry, I'm just correcting. It is
2024, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, believe it or not, we might have some of those coming in the not too distant future. I don't know. There is some old stock kicking around that we might be laying our fingers on. Anyway, I need to draw this to a close. Believe it or not.
There is a Stackers meeting as well on the 2nd of March.
There is. So that is this Sunday, I believe. If you require information on it, I think, are we referring them to Alex at Bullion?
That I'm not sure. Or if they send them through to... If you send it through to live at Bullion Now, I've been sending them through to Alex. So
yeah, okay. So if you need some information on the gathering this Sunday, it will be in the Melbourne CBD. I think it kicks off at either 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock.
1 till 4.
1 till 4. There you go. So send a message to live, L-I-V-E, at bullionnow.com.au, and Ruben will kick it back to one of the guys, and they will send you a message on... They'll send you a message as to all the finer detail on it. And I really encourage you to go along if you can. It's a great place to get around people of like mind. And that's not because I'm suggesting you get into an echo chamber, but sometimes it's good to actually hang out with someone that knows what gold is or knows what silver is and knows its place in the world, just so you can challenge some of those beliefs of, well, I stack this for this reason. What do you think? Oh, well, I don't agree. I do it for this reason. And you think, oh, well, actually, I hadn't thought of it that way. Or alternatively, you might go, oh, well, that's fine, but that doesn't quite work in my circumstance because of this reason or that reason. So it's kind of that iron sharpening iron scenario, and it's a great place to do it. So get yourself along there if you can. That's it for another great week. And like I said, this program does not even begin to work if it's not for you guys joining in and watching it, particularly a day like today where I talk flat out for 90 minutes and don't take a breath. It's certainly about the questions that you pitch in and you guys joining in. So I can't tell you how much that as a whole team we appreciate everyone that tunes in and joins in and watches it afterwards and supports us in various ways. Thanks, Rubes, for managing a difficult situation both between here and the shop. Have a really great weekend. Remember that we will be back next week, bright and shiny. We'll do some releases of videos. We'll also have live stream again at 2:30 next Friday, Melbourne time. If in the meantime you need to contact us in any form, 1300 84 84 10 gets you onto one of the lovely people on the phones. Sales at Bullion Now, so SALES, sales at bullionnow.com.au will get you an email response. We've got a website, bullionnow.com.au, and I will be stacking that over the weekend because it's looking a little bare right at this moment, but we will top it up a bit. And if you're in the neighbourhood, we absolutely love people dropping by to Level 6, 227 Collins Street in Melbourne. Like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff that Ruben says. Why didn't you say it? Because I forget all the time. Have a great and incredibly safe weekend, and we will see you next week.